Something has to give. As Thatcher Demko left last game with an injury, we get an update from NHL insiders revealing how long Demko will be sidelined for the Vancouver Canucks with a pile of injuries starting early this season. This has huge implications on the Vancouver Canucks moving forward with multiple goaltenders injured throughout the system. Patrik Allvin has a huge decision to make with waiver claims looking more likely than ever. We're going to break down these reports on Thatcher Demko, how long he'll be reportedly out for, and a waiver claim that Patrik Allvin needs to look at as goaltending injuries continue to pile. We're going to break down all this and so much more in this episode, so let's just dive straight into it. We do know last night during the first period, Thatcher Demko went out with an injury and was relieved by Kevin Lankinen, who ended up playing in his third straight game after playing a back-to-back this weekend. Now with Thatcher Demko, we got this quote from Adam Foote saying yes, he was ready when Thatcher Demko played last night. He had to leave with a lower body injury after the first period. Now, we've seen the quotes going into this game and this past weekend where Adam Foote was speaking on the maintenance day that Thatcher Demko was taking that was holding him out of the lineup, which led to Jiri Patera being recalled from the Abbotsford Canucks and Kevin Lankinen getting back-to-back starts and playing 2 periods in this game. Now, going further in, we get this report coming from Frank Cervelli. Some relatively positive news for the Canucks on Thatcher Demko this morning. Early indications Thatcher Demko is expected to miss 2 to 3 weeks with a minor injury. It's unrelated to his previous knee injury and unrelated to why Demko took maintenance days this last week. Now, with Kevin Lankinen starting, we know there is a reason why they signed him to this $4.5 million contract, and it was for situations like this. We know we had Artur Shilovs to step up last year. Kevin Lankinen looked great last year as well, but Thatcher Demko has been a rock for the Vancouver Canucks this past season, and losing their starting goaltender is a massive blow. We can see a .903 save percentage, 5 wins, but just looking at the save percentage, this doesn't do justice on what the Vancouver Canucks were getting out of their Vezina Canada goaltender. Now with Thatcher on the shelf for the next 2 to 3 weeks, there is even more reports coming out. And I mean, until last road trip, Demko was not only the team's most valuable player, but statistically, he was one of the best goaltenders in the National Hockey League. Now, with this, losing him for 2 to 3 weeks, this is a big blow for the Vancouver Canucks, and we're going to touch on exactly how this hurts Abbotsford, and a report on a goaltender being placed on waivers that the Canucks could target if they need to get goaltending help. But the biggest thing is losing Thatcher Demko. It hurts an early season for the Vancouver Canucks that are already dealing with a lot of injuries and looking to get wins as they want to stay in this race to secure a spot in the playoffs after missing it just last season. Now, Rick Dhaliwal does go out and say Thatcher Demko will be out, but needs to be reevaluated today and tomorrow for proper timelines. His injury last night was unrelated to the past injuries. So we get 2 reports, one coming from Frank Cervelli on the 12th, coming out to say Thatcher Demko is out for 2 to 3 weeks. We get Rick Dhaliwal also coming out saying this has to be evaluated in the next few days. So with this timeline, this could be 2 to 3 weeks, or it could be an extended shorter. We don't know for sure yet, as the Canucks have not come out themselves to give a proper timeline. Now listen, both of these guys have great sources, so we seem like we're getting a clear picture that he's going to be out for the next couple of weeks at the minimum. But the biggest thing is, Kevin Lankinen is going to step in and take these next games. The Canucks are off till Friday until they play, I believe it was Carolina. So going up against another strong team, we've seen them do it with the Winnipeg Jets. We've seen them do it with Colorado. They're going into a gauntlet of streaks where the Canucks are going to have to get some points in these games. Overtime wins, losses, regulation, whatever it may be. Kevin Lankinen is going to be tested early on in the season, taking over the starter's crease with Thatcher Demko out. Now, the biggest thing is, looking at this, we know the Vancouver Canucks are dealing with injuries. Thatcher Demko is now sidelined for a little bit of time. Kevin Lankinen will take over. Jiri Patera has stepped up. And I mean, looking at the defense, Victor Mancini, Forbert, Jet Wu, even looking at the forwards of Jonathan Lekmacki, Teddy Bluger. There's so many names of Niels Höglander who hasn't debuted this season. The Vancouver Canucks are cursed, and this is even hard to look at. We haven't seen teams go through the amount of injuries that are happening with this Vancouver Canucks. Maybe a practice facility is what the Canucks need to get them into rehabilitate But getting these guys in to do something has to give. This is a team that is absolutely cursed with injuries, and you can only blame it so much on that, but we've seen it season after season. No one on the team can stay healthy, and I mean, looking in Abbotsford, this is a team dealing with injuries as well. As you can see, 5 goaltenders have played at least one game for the Abbotsford Canucks. Tolopilo is currently out with an injury. Yuri Patera is called up. Ty Young was slated off for a little bit as well. The Abbotsford Canucks are one of the worst teams in the AHL after coming off a championship win. So with this happening, the Vancouver Canucks have Kevin Lankinen in the NHL. Of course, Yuri Patera is called up, and then you're left in the minors with multiple guys that are ECHL goalies. And listen, not to hate on these guys, they have room to grow. But the 3 goaltenders that started for the Abbotsford Canucks are currently not on the team due to injuries or one called up to the NHL. Tolopilo is a name that he does seem like he's progressing, that will probably be called back up. But the team needs to figure something out with their goaltenders. With all their injuries, you can't pull everyone from the farm system in hopes that that fixes the NHL. But I mean, going into this, we've seen Elliot Freeman today say the 2 players were placed on waivers. Now, a lot of people say, Mark, why does it matter? Why does it matter that Spencer Martin on the New York Rangers is on waivers today? But if Thatcher Demko is out for an extended period of time, if this is 2 to 3 weeks, we know at this point the Canucks cannot keep up with all the goaltending problems. I mean, right now, 3 guys out, or 1 called up at least, in the Abbotsford system. Their starting goaltender gone down with an injury after taking multiple days. First off, what is your guys' thoughts on Thatcher Demko? What is your thoughts on the injury? We know there was the maintenance days. We know right now he is off. He dealt with injuries last year. Listen, Thatcher Demko is one of, if not the best goaltenders in the NHL when he's on. But the biggest thing is the Canucks just signed him to an extension. He's hurt early on. This is a team that needs to get these wins, so getting Thatcher Demko back early is going to be big for the team, but you also want to let the goaltender sit for a little bit to get back to 100%, and that's where it leans into Spencer Martin. Now with the waivers, we know he was on a KHL team, recently had his contract terminated, and the Rangers signed him to a 2-year deal. Now the big thing with Spencer Martin, a 905 save percentage in the KHL, 30 years old, it's a name some people should know because he was on the Canucks for 2 seasons. Spencer Martin is someone that I would not be shocked if the Vancouver Canucks and Patrik Allvin go out to put a waiver claim on. You get a goaltender for free that can step in. You can send Tolopilo down and keep him in the AHL. Yuri Patera steps down and plays in the AHL. This would give you a backup option or an option to use until Kevin Lankinen does need a break or Thatcher Demko returns, because you need to do something with all these injuries piling up. It's so hard to watch and it sucks to see because, listen, as I said, we know how good Demko is. It seems like a groin injury that he dealt with. He left in the first period. A lot of this game was not on him, but the biggest thing is going on Spencer Martin, a 2-year deal, $775K. I believe it jumps up to $815K when the cap rises. But this is a contract that you can easily bury in the AHL. This is a contract that you can use to help with your team at the current moment. Yes, Spencer Martin hasn't played in the NHL game for a bit of time. He was playing in the KHL, but maybe you just need the goaltending help of fans. What is your thoughts? What is your thoughts on Thatcher Demko going down with an injury? What is your thoughts on Kevin Lankinen stepping in? How do you think he's been this year? Because I think he's been perfect. Listen, the save percentage might not look incredible, but he's stepped up in big moments, back-to-back games, coming in after playing back-to-back games to play his 3rd game in a row. Let me know all your thoughts down in the comment. We'll go straight in the comments today, which is Kevin Lankinen is doing a great job, and I completely agree. Listen, Lankinen might not have the highest save percentage, but he's doing what this Canucks management want, being a perfect 1B goaltender to let Thatcher Demko have time off, and it also helps where he can step in and take over the crease when need be. But let me know all your thoughts down in the comments. While you're down there, leave a like, subscribe, share this with your friends. We'll be back in another episode, so keep your eye out for that. But I've been your host, Mark, and take care.